story today with President Trump saying he's considering a full military withdrawal from Syria. Now, there are around 2,000 U.S. troops on the ground there. The commander-in-chief with a tweet on this topic this morning. We'll put it up on the screen for you. He says, "We have defeated ISIS in Syria. My only reason for being there during the Trump presidency." Peter Brookes joins us, Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. Now, as you know, Peter, throughout the day, the president's really been hearing it from all sides, including from those in his own party. So let me just start with his own premise there.
Okay.
From what you know, have we defeated ISIS, or has ISIS been defeated in Syria?
I think largely so. But I still think there ISIS exists in Syria today and Iraq. The numbers are, fuzzy, and obviously you and I are outside of government, so we rely on things we hear from them. I've heard numbers of, 2,000 or something along this line, and we've been putting additional pressure on them recently. And it also depends kind of how you define defeat, right? So, like I said, I think it's largely the caliphate's down to 1% of the territory that it held. It's not a caliphate any longer. I shouldn't have said caliphate, but ISIS doesn't hold the territory it once did. It's on its back foot. The concern is going forward.
Yeah, do they come back? Mount a comeback?
Right. We got to remember, we have to think about what happened in Iraq in 2011. President Obama left. And al-Qaeda in Iraq became ISIS, and we remember how horrible it was in 2015, and with ISIS and at its peak of power, I would say, and then afterwards. So this is something we have to be concerned about. But I'm looking forward to hearing more from the administration on this. I mean, a lot of people are breathless to make judgments. Right. I want to hear more, and I think the administration owes us more information about their strategy going forward, or what they're calling the next phase.
Yeah, those that are, breathless, to use your term, include, as I said earlier, many in the president's own party, whether it's Marco Rubio, outgoing Senator Bob Corker, as his White House meeting earlier this afternoon was actually called off. And, of course, maybe most notably, the senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. Listen to what he had to say earlier, and then we'll talk about it. Here's Lindsey Graham.
And we need partners. So if we pull out of Syria now, the conditions do not warrant it, in my view. We're exposing a valuable ally to a lot of damage. We're giving a boost to ISIS to regenerate. And above all else, this is going to be seen by Iran as us being weak.
On that last point, we talked about the regeneration of ISIS already. On that last point, this is going to be seen by Iran as us, the United States, being weak. What do you say to that?
Well, it depends. I mean, the perception is in Tehran, right? We can try to shape that, but they're going to perceive what they want to perceive. There are risks here. There's no question about it, and that's why I think the administration owes us more information on the strategy going forward. He didn't mention Russia, and he may have in another part of that clip. Yeah. Russia's another issue. Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria, staying in power. He's used chemical weapons against his own people. Basis for the Russians, Iranian presence, the movement of weapons through Syria to places like Lebanon and the Gaza Strip. There's a lot of concerns here. It's very complicated. Our NATO ally, Turkey, with the relationship with them. So there's a lot of things. So I'm looking forward to the administration laying out a case as to why they made this decision.
Had a call, right, with Erdogan of Turkey recently, and that maybe played into this. On your point about Russia, they love it, right? This move was praised in the Russian state media today, criticized at home by people like Lindsey Graham. Even that, in and of itself, if you knew nothing else, that's kind of a strange position for the president to be in.
That's why I think it would have been better if they perhaps rolled out the strategy with the decision, as opposed to rolled out the decision without the strategy. I mean, they have one internally, I'm sure, but I think, myself and you and the Congress and the American people are very anxious to hear more about this. So I hope they'll have more information for us in the near future.
Okay, so bottom line, we need to hear more from the White House, and we'll see if we will. Peter Brookes, always